welcome back to my channel. My name is Justin Mark, international dating coach and relationship expert. Right now I'm with Alex from Playing with Fire. Alex, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me on, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so Alex, we first got in touch when I was launching my online seduction course. Now, guys, if you want to get a copy of my online seduction course, go to online-seduction.com. Feel free to grab a copy of the course. This will change your entire life. It'll change your entire dating life. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, all those dating apps where you want to meet beautiful women, you can actually do that now. And you can pretty much automate it. So it's like hands-free, does it itself, and you can get incredible results. Now, me and Alex actually got in touch when we were making this course. I checked out some of his content. I loved it. And so I actually featured him in our online seduction course. So you can actually go to onlineseduction.com, get a copy of the course, and check out the interview I did with Alex in the interviews section. We're going to do another interview here on my channel. We've also recently done a live stream on Alex's channel. You guys can check that out as well. You can check out any content on his channel as well. Alex, your channel is called Playing with Fire, right?
Yeah, Playing with Fire Dating, or you can just search Tinder, Playing with Fire, or how to get laid on Tinder. Will come up. Any one of those things.
Awesome. So, Alex, what's your story? How did you get into teaching guys online dating and teaching, success with women in terms of Tinder and online dating?
I honestly stumbled into it. It was it was a series of coincidences. So story begins, 1885. No, it was about 5 years ago. I was working a full-time sales job. So I was working 50, 60 hours a week. And honestly, like at that point, I had already been doing cold approach and I was having some success. But because of my job, I didn't have any time to do any day game, no night game. Like you come home from working 10 hours, you can't go out and do a bunch of approaches. You're just dead, especially when it's like an intensive job like sales. So but I still want to get laid. I'm not going to give up my sex life. So basically, I wanted to set up some kind of a system where I could, get girls. I can basically meet girls while I'm working and then have them come over. So get home at 9, have a girl at 9:45, get laid by 10. Be in bed by 10:30. Whatever.
Awesome.
I needed something like that. So I started applying a lot of sales concepts to online dating, running a lot of leads, optimally closing, just like a lot of principles, from sales. And I started applying them. And I started having a good amount of success. So then I started building on that. I was like, okay, well, what if I do this? And then I started questioning some of the conventional wisdoms. Like, for example, up until that point, it was considered conventional wisdom that shirtless selfies are bad, right? Douchey, whatever, girls don't like that. That was just a conventional wisdom. I was like, you know what? Let's see if this is actually true. So I put on a shirtless selfie, and while I get a little bit less matches, my matches are way more DTF, and overall, I'm having more success.
Makes a lot of sense.
What if I go super sexual in my bio? Like, what if they say you don't want to go too sexual because it's going to turn girls off, girls don't like that. Well, let's see. What if at that point I had just read 50 Shades of Grey. I'm like, all right, what if I go very 50 Shades of Grey in my bio, and I start having more success. So I started doing a lot of stuff like that. I'm just giving you small snippets of the examples. So I started doing that. I started having more success in terms of my dating life than I ever had, while spending less time doing this shit because again, I was mostly working. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I want to just share some of these stories that I'm having. Also wanted to create a place where people could just share what they're learning, because I realized there's a lot of guys who are probably doing shit that I don't know about. So I started a flip Facebook group, and randomly we chose the name Playing with Fire, because literally the whole point of the group was just to share stories about getting laid online. That's it. And I didn't advertise the group at all. I didn't market it, and people just started inviting their friends. One person invited that person. And, a few months in, and the group has several hundred people, right? And I'm not gonna lie, I love the validation, because I was kind of like the center of this group. And that time, that was very new for me. But basically, what started happening is people started PMing me and saying, "Hey, I'm having a really hard time. Can you coach me?" And I was like, "Well, you want me to coach you, dude?" They're like, "Yeah, man, I'll pay you whatever." And that started happening more and more and more. So it was just more of that, and that kind of made me think, what? A lot of people actually need help with this. And there's something that I'm doing that they're not doing. So then I started coaching people. And when I started coaching people, that's really when, let's just say, my own success took off. Because then I started seeing patterns, and I'm sure you can relate to this. You reach a new level of excellence when you start coaching.
Definitely.
The best way to really get grade someone is to actually coach, which is kind of ironic. But so when I started coaching, doing dozens and hundreds of these sessions, I started seeing some overall patterns. And some things I learned only after I started coaching that are now a big cornerstone of my game. So I started doing a lot of that, but the big limiting factor was time, right? Because I can only coach so many people in a day. And then the company I worked for basically went bankrupt. So, I was out of a job. I had 9 months of unemployment in California. So I was like, let me see how far I can take this whole coaching thing. So then I did an ebook. I started a YouTube channel. I started a website. So just all kind of evolved from there.
Cool. That's awesome. So now you mainly do like YouTube. What kind of videos do you usually put out?
I mean, all kinds, dude. Like anything and everything related to getting laid, but also stuff around that. Like, for
So
example,
your entire channel is based around getting laid, or is it mostly based around online dating?
it's well, it's mainly focused on online dating, but then there's a lot of videos like how to text cold approach numbers.
Cool.
One video, how to like, fucking gain your hair, right? Like anything that just I personally was able to learn something in and feel like there's value and I will share. So I don't just pigeonhole myself to just online dating, even though that's what most people are like, come on, dude, we need, another 300 text game videos, like, because the first 299 were enough. But like, I also try to like just anything where I find that I have value in, I will do. Like right now, currently, what I'm trying to do is get some porn stars on my channel, do live streams with them, because I feel like there's a lot of value they probably picked up from fucking hundreds of guys on camera. So like, I recently had, for example, a men's. He's a clinical director of a men's health clinic on, because I feel like hormones and health also has a lot to do with your success as a man. So like, I don't just pigeonhole myself. I try to get anything where I think there's value in this space.
Awesome, man. That's pretty cool. So I always get these messages from guys, especially regarding online dating, who are, minorities from like random countries in like South America, South Asia, even like parts of Europe, where they always have these excuses. And obviously I'm 5'4". I weigh 115 pounds when I'm like working out. Even right now, I'm probably like 110 because like I haven't been eating well. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because a lot of these guys, they suck when it comes to dating. When this week, like I got back to my home city of Toronto, and dude, as soon as I downloaded Tinder, I was able to have like literally like in like 2 days, I got hundreds of fucking matches, tons of really, really attractive women who are, down to meet up with me. So what advice would you give to guys who would like stereotypically be like a short guy or a minority, or like even I think I got a message the other day where this guy's like, I have a small penis. Do you think girls will like me? Like what type of advice would you, I mean, like I'm always giving advice to guys like this because it's obviously coming from a place of insecurity, but I'm curious to know what your specific advice would be to guys like that.
Several things. First of all, I think that most of the guys who are complaining, they actually have it way better than 98% of the people. Like typically, if they're watching these videos, that means they have internet access, right?
That's true.
They're not living in a fucking hut somewhere. Like, but that's a good part of the world. Like they have some level of education. Typically, they don't have any disabilities. I mean, again, there's always exceptions. But like a lot of the guys who I see complaining are they're not models, but they're decent looking guys who are, like they're just have, come from upper middle class family, like they have, means, maybe some of them even have a good amount, like will make a lot of money. Like their situation, objectively speaking, is actually quite good. But in their mind, it's the worst ever. So they're looking at it like, oh God, dude, like I'm the worst case. In reality, like when I try to reframe it, I'm like, dude, you're actually probably in the top 5% of people. Like, so your situation, like realize that your situation is not nearly as bad. And just because you live in a country that's not good for, first of all, most countries are much better for online than most people think. But if you live in a shitty place for online, you can always move. Like maybe not within a day, but within a few months, like you can move. Like
100%.
It's attainable. To a lot of guys, like they just think I live with my parents now in my shitty town, and that's how it's going to be for the rest of my life. But like it doesn't have to be that way. Like you can leave your mom's basement and like venture out into a city on your own. So sometimes when I tell guys this, they look at me like I'm crazy, like I'm telling them to like discover the cure for cancer. Like it's fully attainable. Those are not even like that big of goals.
Of course it's. Yeah, so, like that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The connection is kind of weird right now, but that's some really good feedback. So the main thing is like understanding where you're actually at, because you think most guys are actually better than where they think they're at. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, objectively speaking, but honestly, also a big part of this, like guys will have all the reasons why they're not getting matches. Like they'll come up to me with these laundry list of reasons. And you want to know what it really is, like 9 out of 10 times? It's never any of their reasons. It's just because they have shitty profile pics. That's what it is 9 out of 10 times. These guys will be like, dude, like, I think it's because, I'm actually half Asian and these girls are all secretly racist against Asian guys. And because, my left eye is slightly bigger than my right eye and I have this tiny bald spot.
And I just
look at their
small penis.
Yeah, but like my picture's on point. I look at their pictures and the sub pictures suck balls. I'm like, dude, promise the pictures, we fix the pictures, and then they're like, holy shit. Like I recently had a client. This guy was, I'm not going to give away too many personal info, but he was a pretty successful, guy living in New York City. And, he said he'd been trying online dating for a decade, right? And he's had like no success with it. He thought that the apps had, shadow banned him or something like that. He had all these theories. He's like, well, I took in really good pictures, so it can't be that. Look at his profile. Total dog shit pictures. We fixed the pictures. Now he's like, loves online dating. He's like, dude, I'm getting so much pussy from online. This is awesome.
Crazy how some small tweaks will just fix everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Small tweaks are good. Big tweaks are better, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, small tweaks, big tweaks. Sometimes you just got to tell the client to like delete his entire profile.
I know.
I've seen a lot of those. You know what? Before I learned online dating, I had 6 matches. Now, one of them was a gay guy. One of them was a transsexual, and the rest were like overweight women. And I wasn't into any of that. That's not my type, right? And I was just convinced online dating doesn't work. Like it's hacked. Like the system's against me. Because I was thinking I'm a pretty good-looking guy, and my cold approach was really good. Now this is years ago, and I was always so confused why I wasn't getting the results. But then it's crazy because you in person doesn't necessarily, completely communicate with a selfie or a couple photos. So there's a lot more that goes in to building your profiles that's going to allow you to get way better results. So it's crazy because I remember when I was in Mexico, I made a new account and one day I got 600 matches, right? And It's crazy how it took me like a month to get 6 matches, whereas now I can do that I can do 100 times that in like a day. And it just blows my mind how when you actually apply the right concept and materials from either your content, my online structure course, or anywhere where there's good, valuable material where you can apply that to your dating profiles or your social media profiles, you're going to be getting such better results without even doing anything. Like it's almost gone to a point where it's like, meeting new people or meeting new, dating partners from online. It's almost like deciding like go watch a movie or something. There's no effort. I mean, the amount of effort I used to put in to try to get a date was like overwhelming. And now it's like almost minimal effort where you're like kind of hanging out. Oh, some girl texts me, wants to hang out. You know what I mean? 4 a.m., about to go to sleep. Some girl wants to hang out. And it's really crazy how this will kind of work where you almost don't have to do anything.
Yeah, man. I mean, for sure. I like to tell this story. My first dive into online game was actually not Tinder. It wasn't Bumble. It wasn't Hinge. It was actually Craigslist Casual Encounters. That was the first bit of online dating I ever did. Yeah, Craigslist Casual Encounters was a gold mine before they took it down 2 years ago. Like I shit you not, I banged some of the hottest girls in my life, like 9.5s, 10s from Craigslist Casual Encounters. Like people don't believe me when I say this, but I'll show them pictures, like stunners. Like you wouldn't, it just doesn't make sense, but it is what it is. But anyway, so this is how I discovered online dating. One day I was tired, I was bored, sitting at home, didn't feel like going out. At this point, I've been doing cold approach for a while, like having typical intermediate results, maybe 1 or 2. This is when I was like 24, right? So maybe sleeping with 1 or 2 new girls a month, had 1 or 2 booty calls, right? Like intermediate style results. But I was going out, I was grinding it. Like I wasn't getting like easy lays by any means. Like maybe occasionally when, the girl's super into me, but it was very rare. So then I read somewhere a guy telling a story how he's been banging girls from Craigslist Casual Encounters by making these very like sexual suggestive ads that like appeal to a girl, right? So he pasted what he wrote. And I'm like, well, this is not even that good. Like I'm a way better writer than this guy. So what if I reword this? So my title of the ad was Runaway Little Girl, right? Which is like a push, but like something that's going to make girls curious. So it wasn't like, oh my God, horny guy that wants to fuck you. Runaway Little Girl. And then I wrote like a very detailed sexual 50 Shades of Grey style type of post. And dude, so within 2 hours, I had, like you said, a bunch of gay guys emailing me like, oh, daddy, that was such a hot ad. Like, I had a lot of that. Some fat chicks. And I had this one chick that just looked like a model. Like, she wasn't really my type because I like more big booty Latina. She was more tall, but she was like very like model looking. I'm like, oh, wait, this chick is on Craigslist Casual Encounters. She must be trolling. But like, what's the worst that can happen? Let me just go with it. So I'm like, sure, like, here's my number. Text me. She does. And then within 20 minutes, she's on her way to my house. And I'm like, okay, this is way too easy. Like, there's got to be some catch here. Like, this can't work. Like, there's no way this hot model-looking chick is coming straight to my place to fuck, based on no conversation. Dude, 20 minutes later, Uber pulls up, hot model-looking chick gets out, and has the most DTF look on her face ever. Give her a hug, lead her inside. Within 2 minutes, we're having sex. And I was just so mind blown. Like after she leaves, it was just like an epiphany. I was sitting there, I was like, how the fuck did that happen? Like normally it would take me hours of cold approach, a date or two to bang this type of caliber girl. I just banged her with zero work. And like, that's kind of what like, I don't know, it's like a big epiphany because I realized that game does not have to be this like really long process where you put in a lot of work. That's what people think game is, but it doesn't have to be that way all the time. There can be actually super easy ways. And usually not all the time. Obviously you can get super easy ways from cold approach, of course. But typically you're going to get more of those with online dating, especially if you have a good profile.
Yeah, if your profile is good, it literally, it almost feels like it's cheating in a weird way. But then I guess because you're going through the experience, you're having fun, you're actually having a successful interaction and meeting someone and spending time with them, it's like, well, I'm still experiencing this experience. And, you know, at the end of your life, you're going to still have gone through these experiences. So I think it's almost like mind-blowing when you know, can actually apply this type of thing to your life. And a lot of guys are just not applying this. Like, a lot of my friends don't use Tinder. A lot of people I know don't even use dating apps. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you got to get on this. It is crazy how easy it can be to actually just be the guy who's like crushing it on online dating apps.
Yeah, for sure. Some guys, I feel like this is the mindset I see. It's like guys think that like they almost treat dating apps like heroin. Like, oh, once you get on it, you know, you'll never do cold approach again. Like, blah blah blah. Like, you know, they think it's either or. But honestly, like me, we do both. Like,
of course, you can do
on my
both.
dating, do cold approach. I meet girls other ways. You know, I meet girls at the grocery store. I meet girls through friends. Like, you can meet girls. And it's not like once you do online dating, like that's it. Every other part of your life is over or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how like most guys they think it's either or they think like online dating is cheating. But think about this, right? It's like a tool in the tool belt, right? Again, if you're in the grocery store and you see someone who stands out and you want to talk to them, you can do that. What's even crazier is you're going to feel even more confident having, you know, tons of women who constantly want to meet you from online dating. And that's going to allow you to just feel confident more often than not. And what that's going to allow you to do is feel more confident when you're doing cold approach. So it's almost like you already have that abundance. So for example, if you move to a new city, you don't know anyone, you know, want to go out and meet people, but you're kind of like shy. Well, what you can do is you can use online dating to kind of build up the same amount of abundance that you would in 3 months, but you can do that in like a week, right? You can build up about 3 months of abundance in about a week. And then all of a sudden, now you're feeling confident in that environment. You're feeling like someone who's like a go-getter, and you can actually kind of create the lifestyle you want to live very, very quickly in that new city.
100% agree with that. I mean, you know, that's like almost, I hate that argument because it's such a dumb argument when people say, oh, it's cheating. That's like saying taking protein powder is cheating when it comes to bodybuilding, or like doing drop sets is cheating. Like anything that's like increases your success, oh, that's cheating. Like, well, it's not cheating. It's just like something that help your, you know, it's like saying, oh, sleeping 8 hours a day is cheating because you're going to be more focused at the gym. Like, you know, like what? Like, argument makes zero sense.
It doesn't really make sense. I 100% agree. So, Alex, I think we pretty much chat about most of what I want to chat about. Obviously, anyone can check out your channel. You've got a lot of awesome content. Playing with Fire is a really interesting community, really, really incredible content. But is there anything else you want to add to our discussion before we end our call?
No, I mean, that's really it. You know, check out my channel, check out the website, playingfire.com. We have, you know, a lot of free articles on there. You know, pretty much any question you have when it comes to online dating profiles, whatever, we have an article on or a video. So check that out and join our forums.playingfire.com. Pretty active community. Yeah, pretty much it.
Cool, man. Dude, thanks so much for being on my channel, and we'll talk to you soon. And guys, remember, the online seduction course is out. You can get a copy of that at online-seduction.com. You can also make sure to follow my new Instagram because my old one got banned, DrunkJustin2. Make sure to add me on all social media, Snapchat, and make sure to follow and join my Telegram group. I have an inner circle group called Justin Marks Inner Circle. Join that, linked in the description, and we will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.